Hello, everybody. Wasn't that nice? Paul, can you please unmute your camera and microphone to continue the rest of the conference? Oh, just in case you might be having some technical issues, Shannon, I've sent you the invite to continue the program, please. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. That was so inspiring. I hope everyone loved that video and that little song to kick off the day. It's always good to have great energy coming into a conference like this, especially when it's virtual, because as we all know, it's been all virtual lately, and it can get hard and it can get tedious. But when you remember that what you're doing is for a reason, that there's always something good that can come out of any kind of event like this, it really makes it that much better. And I know Paul really loves that inspirational video that he showed. So I'm not sure where he is, but I can maybe I'll give him another second to jump in here, or otherwise we can adapt and overcome and figure this out. So I think he was supposed to run this first panel, but hey, this is what life is all about. Being a startup founder, I'm always adapting and overcoming. So I guess for the sake of staying on time, I'll just go ahead and get started. So Paul, if you can hear me, feel free to jump in at any time. But right now we're going to kick off the day with our body and nutrition panel. So what I'm going to do first is introduce our panelists, and then we have some questions for them. So I'll begin by introducing Darpan, who is a certified registered holistic nutritionist, an RHN, and a certified live blood analyst, CBA, products knowledge expert. Now that sounds amazing, and I can't wait to hear more about it. She can look at a client's blood under a microscope and determine how balanced the entire digestive system is functioning. She can see how the blood processes nutrients and understand the overall health of a client. She can make supplement recommendations that best work for their unique makeup. And she says, understanding your health is all about understanding your body, how your body is able to absorb nutrients. So Darpan's health knowledge and protocols have had clients seek her out from across the globe. So Darpan is here. I'm going to go ahead, and I believe we're going to introduce the next panelist as well. And we're going to have some information of how to contact Darpan come up too. So our next panelist is Dr. Stacy Cooper, who is a holistic health and wellness authority, an inspirational speaker and educator. She is the founder of Lifestyle Balance Solutions, international best-selling author of What's Self-Love Got to Do With It, creator of the Healthy Eating Blueprint and the Balanced Living Academy, and the author of the Healthy Fuels Cookbook. Dr. Stacy's practice was founded in 1912 by her great-grandfather. She is a fourth-generation practitioner with clinical experience, which spans over 23 years. Her newest book, Heal Your Health Naturally, will launch on May 11th in Toronto with Jack Canfield of Chicken Soup for the Soul fame, and has also been endorsed by Bob Proctor. So Stacy, so nice to have you as well. It's great to see you. And I know that some more information of how to contact Stacy will be popping up as well. And then last but not least, we have Dr. Delphi Dugal-Tessier, who is a neuroscientist with a doctorate in the field of neurogenesis and mechanism of cellular regeneration. Now that is a mouthful, people, which is amazing. She is currently the head of research at Statera, an emerging R&D company in the field of nutritional neuroscience. They developed the nootropic called Mind Gain. Now, she's going to have to probably correct me here, but Mind Gain supports the nutrients of your brain that your brain needs during stress and performing at high levels. And as a mother of two, an entrepreneur, a competitor, and a woman in science, Dr. Dugal-Tessier knows all too well the challenges and struggles of our brains face on a daily basis and how this can affect mental wellness, happiness, and productivity. In addition, Dr. Dugal-Tessier is a public speaker with a TEDx Canada talk entitled "The Brain Hack to Get Your Life Back." So again, more information as well will be popping up for how to contact her. And ladies, it's so nice to have you all here. And I can't wait to dive into this panel. I'd love to hear just first how you feel about being here today.
Super excited. This is going to be an amazing day and so much incredible information in regards to how participants can take control of their health and their life and make improvements there. Little tweaks and ideas at a time.
Absolutely. I'm very excited to be here and share all my sciencey knowledge with anybody who's willing to listen to my awesome science talks.
And how about you, Darpan?
I don't know if you can hear me.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
I'm sorry to interrupt everyone. Shannon, can you please refresh your screen? I mean, we can't get enough of a good thing, but it's getting a little too much.
Sorry about that, Shannon. I had some tech issues, but you're welcome to keep. You're doing such a great job. If you want to keep going, or I could take things over from here. That's the part of adapting and overcoming. So while Shannon's doing that, I'll just take it over. So I'm going to start with Darpan and ask Darpan's. Hey, Darpan, how are you today?
Good.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So Darpan, so tell us how nutrition affects our mental health and well-being.
Well, if you're not eating the right foods, it's going to affect your digestive system and indirectly affect your mental health as well. A lot of people are so into, fast foods and canned foods, and they're just not getting the right nutrition in their body. Hence, you see in the last 50, even just the last 20 years, really, our food soil and everything is so depleted that people are getting sicker, more disease and diseases are happening in the body. So people really need to start focusing more on the quality of food, how they're chewing their food, because that's really important. All the digestion starts in your mouth. Drinking the quality of water, all that takes a huge impact on each cellular structure inside your body. It's really, really important to keep in mind that while you're taking care of everybody else around you, you need to be taking care of yourself. Because nature need to take it.
Excellent, Darpan. We'd love to see if you can press the camera icon below. I don't know if you
you can't see me.
You're black right now, but yeah, we'd love to see if you just press that camera icon.
It says camera on. Let me see.
It's there we go. Now we can see.
Okay.
So Darpan, tell us a little bit about analyzing people's blood.
So I've been doing live blood analysis for almost 17 years, and it's a modality I added to my practice. I've been practicing for 20 years because it gives me a much more in-depth insight of what's going on inside my client's body. So what it is it's a quick tip, and I'm taking a speck of which I put on a dark field microscope, and I'm able to analyze things like liver congestion, overgrowth of bacteria, parasite activity. So while I'm looking at the red blood cells and white blood cells, my main focus is to look at the terrain in the body. So our body, hundreds and billions of different microorganisms, the good and bad bacteria, the shape, the way they are moving in the body, an indication of where the deficiencies are lying. So blood test you do with your doctor, we are not diagnosing either. My main focus is to look at the root cause of imbalances and get people on the right track of health. So more of it, because at the moment I would say 90% of people who come to me, I'm
Okay, excellent. So Darpan, can you give us some best practices for improving our nutrition?
Be mindful, take care of yourself, especially as females. I know we take upon a lot, roles as mothers, as entrepreneurs, as caretakers. We definitely want to make sure that we take care of ourselves, mind, body, spirit, for yourself. Whether so, for example, in the morning, take, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes, and deep breathe and just start the day. It's really important because things just get really else you're doing. So taking that me time is really, really important. Most people forget to do that because we're always on the go. And sit down on a table and eat your food. Don't be on the rush all the time. Whether, I know sometimes it's hard in the car, just eating wherever. Right now, besides the bathroom, everywhere else, because that's the only place people haven't gone yet. But if you just sit on the table, mindfully sit down, eat your food, have a good connection with your food, chew your food properly, all that is one for nutrition, in my opinion.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much, Darpan, for sharing your wisdom with us. Some great tips you had for us. Next, I want to check in with Dr. Stacy. And Dr. Stacy, last time we saw you, we were actually writing a book together. So that was a lot of fun. We're doing a workshop together. So Dr. Stacy, tell us what health and wellness techniques people can use to deal with this isolation we've been over the last 15 months.
Well, thankfully, the weather is getting so much nicer, so it is easier to get out. But in regards to isolation, that really is corporal punishment. We are social beings. We need to be together. Our spirit and souls need to connect with each other. We are energetic beings. And keeping away from people really does not help your immune system at all. It actually encourages disease. So connecting is really important. And if you have to do it from home without someone else in the room with you, then getting together on events like this, calling your friend on the telephone and conversing with them, not just text messages that get answered 3 hours later, but actually connecting, having conversation, communicating, sharing ideas, and holding each other accountable is another great way to break the isolation. So what I mean by holding each other accountable is choose to do something for your body, your mind, your spirit, whatever that might happen to be, whether you choose that you're going for 10 minutes a day, or you're going to choose to start walking more, even if it's inside your home, climbing the stairs 4 times in 15 minutes or something, like, it doesn't matter what. But when you connect with a friend, a neighbor, a loved one, a family member, an acquaintance, someone from a community like this, and you befriend each other and come together, when you have each other as accountability partners, now you are much less likely to give up on the task that you know you want to do for yourself, that you know that's good for you, because you personally, and I've done this myself, will come up with a list as long as your arm in regards to how to give up on that thing. Oh, I'm too tired. Oh, it's too late. Oh, I'm ready for bed. Oh, it's too early. Oh, I don't want to make noise in the house. Oh, it's raining out. Whatever. But when you have someone else who you've said the intention to, so now it's tangible, it's real, somebody else is witness to it, and you have someone else who's on board with you, who is going to hold you accountable, you are so much less apt to quit, because you know they're going to ask you, hey, did you do that thing? So to help break the isolation, get on the phone with a friend, get on Zoom, see each other's faces, make time to connect instead of just plugging into Netflix or TV or whatever, or the news or the media. Plug into someone instead of something. So that's a really key component to helping break the isolation. And now that the weather's better, get outside and just use your senses to experience life. Even if it's just on your front step or on your sidewalk, and as people may happen to be passing by, say hello, just wave to them. And that's an exchange of energy. And that will help to uplift your spirits too.
Excellent, Dr. Stacey. And I know you're an avid runner. You do marathons. Tell us a little bit about the importance of your physical health and keeping active.
Physical health is key to boosting your immune system, because when you're physically active, then your body gets physically fatigued, which helps to enhance your sleep, because a tired body will rest much better. If you spend your day sitting, again, in front of computers, TV, media, whatever, and you're not active, and you nap or doze off, and you're not fueling your body well with the food that you're eating, then you're not going to sleep well either. Now, that does not mean that you have to start running a marathon. Not. The key point is to start where you're starting from. If you haven't been very active over the past little while, then start with a 5 or 10 minute walk. And again, have an accountability partner. That's so important. So go for that 5 or 10 minute walk. And in regards to exercise, if you don't like walking, then bicycle instead, or use a recumbent bike, or whatever. But the point is, do something that you like. Because again, if you are choosing an activity that you don't like, that's the first opportunity you're going to use to not do that thing. And then you won't succeed at improving your physical endurance, your lung function, your circulation. There are so many things when you're learning a new activity, even if it's doing Zumba on Zoom, which is hilarious, Zumba on Zoom. But when you're doing that, you're learning new movements. You're stimulating your nervous system and your brain, and you're keeping your brain young and smart and firing those neurons. So learning anything new, even if it's a jigsaw puzzle, even if it's a word search or crosswords, stimulating your brain is so important to stave off dementia, neurological diseases, and keeping your body young.
Excellent. So Dr. Stacy, thanks for sharing those great tips. Now, one amazing thing is that you're actually have a family business that's 4th generation, and that's, even to have a 2nd generation business is very slim. To have a 3rd generation is, maybe 1 to 2%, but you actually have 4th generation family chiropractic business. So tell us how that's possible to have such longevity with a family business.
Possible? I don't know, because it wasn't something that I was, oh, you have to become number 4 in the line, right? It wasn't anything like that. Living a chiropractic lifestyle and understanding the healing capacity of the body. This is what excites me every single day, is your body adapts to whatever environment you provide for it. If it's freezing cold outside, your body will shiver to create heat to warm you up. If it's boiling hot outside, your body will sweat to cool you down, to keep you healthy and alive. So the miraculous healing mechanism of the body is truly what is incredible, because if you're not happy with where your health is right now, you simply have to change the environment you provide for your body. And so through chiropractic, enabling the body to heal naturally by allowing the brain and spinal cord to communicate with every single cell in the body helps to enhance immune system function, digestive function. Every single cell, organ, and system functions better when the information can get to where it needs to go. So that's the basis of chiropractic. And seeing that happen I've been adjusted since I was born. I've been working in the office since I was 12 years old on Saturday mornings, going to the work with my dad. And seeing the transformation that patients have in a matter of minutes from being adjusted is really what gripped my heart, my soul, my spirit, and really is my calling to serve humanity to help heal. Hence this title of my book, Healing Your Health Naturally, Nourishing Your Mind, Your Body, and Your Spirit, because it's not just about the foods.
Yes, I was about to ask that. Tell us more about your book, Dr. Stacy, and we're going to include a link in the chat. So if anyone wants to purchase your book, and I got your book, and you have a cookbook as well. So tell us more about that.
For sure. So I created the cookbook. It's kid-friendly, family-tested, and kid-approved, so all the kids can make the recipes and they enjoy eating them. Because if it doesn't work in our household with a family of 6, you can see the picture up there, then what's the point? The point is to live life, share it together, and not spend hours in the kitchen, but nourishing each other well. And so with the cookbook, it's wheat-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, gluten-free, soy-free, diabetic-friendly. It's all about fueling your body better so your engine can run the way it was designed. And as Darpan was speaking about, food is really important. Eliminating the inflammatory foods, wheat, dairy, and sugar. that enables the cells to function adequately and better so that everything else can function better within your body. The sugar that's being loaded into people's bodies these days through the North American diet is sickening. And my mission is to eliminate the diabetic epidemic globally. And eating whole natural foods is part of that experience. So with the book, Heal Your Health, I share, there's 16 chapters in regards to what your body does with what you give it, how to nourish your body, how to take time for you, the importance of stretching and physical activity. I cover all of those topics here, and it is endorsed by Jack Canfield from Chicken Soup for the Soul and Bob Proctor from the movie The Secret.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today, Dr. Stacy. And as we mentioned, like you can, we'll leave the information in the chat. You want to purchase your book. Dr. Stacy can even actually send it directly to you, which is what I did. So you can even reach out to Dr. Stacy directly. And congratulations to you on a 4th generation legacy that your business is, and hopefully maybe one day there'll be a 5th generation too. So,
yes, we're looking forward to that. And if you're interested, I have a free guide, 10 down in 10 days, and I can put that link in the chat for you. This is something you can download for free and get started with some simple tips and ideas in regards to how to start healing your health naturally. Thanks so much, Paul, for the opportunity.
Excellent.
I can't wait to hear what Delphine has to share too.
Great to see you. All right, so Delphi, we last time we were hanging out was in the Toastmasters, and you also gave a TEDx speech that people can also check out, TEDx Canada. So Delphi, what is digital intrusion all about, and why is this a problem for our brain?
Thank you for the great question. Digital intrusion is basically letting technology force you to multitask. So let me paint a picture. You're writing a report. Bzz, bzz. Oh, pick up your phone. Yeah, I like chicken for dinner. Put your phone down. Refocus. Okay, I need to do this. Pop, a screen comes up. Oh, your kid needs help with their Zoom class. Blah 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 blah. Things are popping up everywhere, and it's been 20 minutes, and you still have not focused on the task at hand. So this is what our brain constantly has to deal with every single day. Distraction, 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 distraction. And it's so hard to refocus at what we're doing. So without even noticing, we are constantly multitasking. And every time we switch from task to task, science shows it kills 40% of your productivity. And you know what? As much as people write it on their CV, humans cannot effectively multitask. In an 8-hour day, you can lose up to 3 hours of your time. And it's not just wasted time, it actually takes a huge toll on your brain.
Okay, excellent. So Delphi, how do you know if you suffer from digital intrusion?
Well, we all feel the signs. Okay, so you might start feeling brain fog, lack of attention or focus, that mid-afternoon crash, or you're so exhausted after a Zoom call because Zoom is extremely taxing for the brain. You're walking around like a zombie. And for me, I get a little snappy with my kids. So if they're like, oh, what's for dinner? I don't know. Simple question, totally unwarranted response. Because I'm tired. My brain is tired. It's been multitasking all day. And you know what? Long term, it affects your mental health, your energy level. And most of us might even feel a full-on burnout. Why is that? Well, your brain needs energy. Where do you get your energy? From the food that you eat. And more specifically, high quality protein and nutrients rich food. We covered it today. No one feels good after crushing McNuggets and trying to do a report. That just doesn't work. You need quality food. The problem is we push our brains so hard every single day and we don't even notice. And it's affecting our mood, our cognition, our ability to learn. And have you ever thought to yourself, what do I need to eat to maintain my mental performance?
Excellent. So Delphi, what else can we do about this issue with digital intrusion?
Well, the obvious answer is don't multitask. So if you're doing a report or you're doing something, put your phone in another room. Decrease the distraction. Don't do multiple things at the same time if you don't need to. Have a balanced diet. Go for a walk. Have time to take, if you're going to work for 2 hours, take 10-minute breaks. Sit down without your phone, without technology. Just take a deep breath. Just time to be with yourself. But let's face it, this is not always a possibility. Multitasking might be part of your life, and it's something that you can't get rid of. I have my kids with me all the time. I can't tell them to, stop doing their online school, or you have a stressful job where you need your phone, you need technology. It's very taxing for the brain. That's where I come in. So I study how nutrients help brain performance, and more specifically, which nutrients can help give back the energy your brain needs when it starts depleting its energy. And through our research and development department, we've done some incredible studies, and we developed a nutritional intervention called Mind Gain. It's Health Canada approved powder to support mental performance, mental health, and brain function. And our preliminary data shows that in an office setting, if you take Mind Gain, it will improve your ability to deal with multitasking by 50%. So it doesn't make you a better multitasker, so don't write it on your resume, but it will help you cope with the distraction. So basically, Mind Gain gives the nutrients your brain needs for the energy. So the way that I like to describe it is, you have your brain, and your brain needs to make a table to write the report. Mind Gain doesn't make the table and give it to you. A lot of the herbals, a lot of, like pharmaceutical drug will give you that table. Mind Gain is the lumber, so it gives you the tools and the material for your brain to make the table it needs. And if you can't distract from multitasking, and you can't take a break, and you can't do all the good things for your body, well, I do have a solution. Mind Gain is a safe alternative to give you that little boost during your workday, where you might need that a little bit extra help. And because everybody's been so wonderful and awesome, for the next 48 hours, you get 20% off Mind Gain to try it out. You just have to write Mind Gain 20. I will put it in the chat. But the first thing I want you to do after this is take your first step just to notice. Do you feel like your performance is declining during the day? And what do you think you can do about it to change that? Thank you.
Okay, that's excellent, Delphi. And as you mentioned, you'll leave the information there. I noticed you had both your coffee and your Mind Game this morning to get you started on the day. So that's amazing. And I know you've also been like a high performing athlete. Like, you're a competitive skier. You actually do mixed martial arts. What can you tell us about high performance for business owners?
So it's the mindset. And I'm Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, not MMA, because I don't like to be hit in the face. So I like to grapple. A lot of people most people don't realize that their brain is high functioning. So an athlete, you give your body the best thing to perform with your muscles, and everything is gauged to be physically the best performance. But as a small business owner, you use your brain so much. Have you ever thought, what does my brain specifically need to be high performance? And this is where the disconnect is sometimes there. Everyone uses their brain at a high performance, especially with technology. So it's time to start treating our brain like the high performance athlete that you are.
Okay, excellent. Well, I would like to thank our three panelists, Darpan Alwalia, Dr. Stacey Cooper, and Delphi Dougal-Tessier. Thanks so much for sharing your wisdom on body, mind, and spirit. We're going to next introduce our mindset and visualization panel. So if I can ask our panelists to just mute your camera and your mic. And as I introduce our next panelist, what I'll do is I'll get you to come up as we introduce you. Now, Shannon, did you want to introduce our next panel? I see you're appeared on the screen here.
Yeah, well, if that works, or if you want to go ahead, I know I did it for you last time. So
no, you saved me too. So I'll let you take it from here.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul. And yes, that was a great panel. I loved learning about so many things, and figuring out and finding out how the body is really affected. And we have so many smart people here today. It's wonderful. So like Paul said, this next panel is on mindset and visualization. And our the first person I'll be introducing is Dr. Karen Stillman. Karen is a transformational life coach, and she delights in helping people and businesses achieve greater well-being by realizing their own potential. She's never amazed and always truly delighted, and she happily serves several groups. So the first group is couples who struggle with fertility. The second group is people looking to make changes in their own well-being, their career, their relationships. And third, corporations seeking improved wellness and productivity through healthy, happier staff. Hi, Karen, Dr. Karen, it's so nice to have you here today.
Hi, Shannon. Glad to be here.
Can't wait to hear all the great things we're gonna talk about today. So if you do want to contact Karen, there's going to be some information popping up. But we also have here today Stephen Whiteley, your freedom coach. So you know how many people are unhappy because they live a life expected by their parents and learn from society. Well, Stephen guides his clients towards enjoying a more fulfilling life. So he helps them understand what is holding them back from living a life of purpose. He has a unique 12-step program that is proven to give people inner clarity and peace of mind. He empowers people to find alignment with their true life's purpose and enjoy a more meaningful life. Stephen Whiteley, your freedom coach, is making dreams come true. Stephen, it's so wonderful. If you want to pop up on the screen, we could say hi. If not, we'll move on, and you can join when you're ready. All right. So next we have David Pare. So correct me, David, when you come on, if I said that right. I know there's so many pronunciations. So
you got it right.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. I hope so, but I don't know, maybe it's the British pear or so imagine if you knew what truly made you different from others like you and what your unique opportunity in the marketplace was. David can really help you if you are experiencing overwhelmed by all the options and things you could potentially do to launch your online coaching program. He can help you if you recognize how valuable your offer is, but are confused on how to package it into a transformational online offer. If you're not sure what truly makes you stand out, and what your unique value in the marketplace really is. But you do know that when you get your message and your brand out to the right people, that you'll be able to constantly deliver transformational results because you're great at what you do. So those are our three panelists. I know that only two of you are here. So we're going to go ahead and get started because it's a two-person panel today.
Hi, everybody. Stephen, I've been sending you some messages. If you're on a mobile device or tablet, Stephen, it will not work. So I apologize. You have to be on a desktop or laptop. In the meantime, Stephen, please refresh your screen. I sent you a message. Please review it. Thank you.
So I guess, Stephen, maybe some technical difficulties, and the theme of the day is adapting and overcoming. So I'm sure he's working on that. But in the meantime, let's get started because this is such a cool panel. I'm so excited to dive in. And we'll start with Dr. Karen. So Karen, why don't you tell us how we can improve our mindset given the 15 months of isolation we've been in?
Thank you, Shannon. Well, there's lots of things we can do to improve our mindset, and they can be as simple as, taking a few deep breaths. The first panelists were excellent talking about your health and nutrition and all that really, really is important, getting out and doing all those other pieces that you can do. But if you can't get out, if you are limited from a mobility perspective, what you can do is utilize one of your 6 mental faculties. And that's how we as humans are different than all the little animals that are around in nature, is that we not just use our instincts, but we have 6 mental faculties. And the one that I love the most is imagination. We used it as kids. So you have experience with this. I know you can do it. And we want to use our imagination to take us places. And it can take us anywhere. This is what I love. Albert Einstein referred that logic and knowledge is important to take you from A to B, but imagination can take you everywhere. So think of what you would love. Don't use your imagination to terrorize yourself about what may or may not be happening directly to you in this very moment. and use your imagination to lean into bigger breaths, lean into that you feel good, lean into, anything and everything. And because our body, as mentioned earlier, is a self-healing organism, we have this capacity with our thoughts to create all that. So our thinking is number one. The second piece is using your thoughts, specifically your words. So be careful what words you use, and you'll notice at different times if you are feeling held down, other people may notice what you're saying. So when someone says, "Oh, thank you," and the other person responds, "No worries," well, why would you bring worries into the conversation? Why not? The usual answer has been historically, "You're welcome," or "My pleasure." We want to draw on the abundance of positive, uplifting words and reframing some of what we think and what we say. So when we look at what we think is really important, and how we can shift with simple little steps our mindset.
You are hitting the nail on the head, and I am a big believer in everything you're saying because I've seen it happen, and I know I can tell how passionate you are and that you've seen it happen too. So why don't you tell people listening, how can we as people use visualization to improve our life?
Oh, absolutely. Well, if you can dream it up, you can create it. So what are you dreaming up? As little kids, we dreamed up, I remember wanting to be a princess. And then what happened a few days later? My mom pulled out her prom dress out of the cupboard, and there it was, a beautiful little, chiffon dress, the big billowy skirt, almost like a Cinderella dress. And when I was little, it hit the floor. So I got that ability to do that. So I know you can do that. So we want to dream up what it is that we would love. And when you ask that question of yourself, not what do you want to see, not what do you want to do, not what I can do, but what would I love? Love is a frequency that is so high and harmonious with abundance, and that you'll never go astray when you ask yourself, what would I love? So if it's right now, I would love to, I'm enjoying this conference and the summit, but I now know it's nice and sunny outside. I would love to be outside. So on the break, I'm going to just sit and stare out that window for 4 or 5 minutes. Take a few slow, deep breaths, and I can visualize where else I would love to be. Maybe it's not just outside my backyard. Maybe I'm, on a beach in the Turks and Caicos if it's the middle of winter and here in Canada. And now maybe if it's too hot, I'd like to be skiing in the Alps. If I need some help, if I have access to the internet, I can use and Google some pictures. So I don't have to do all the work and not know myself. I can print off a picture and look at it and just stare into that and breathe and realize that, how does that feel in my body? Don't listen to all the other outside things that are going on with my senses. I'm creating my environment. So slow, deep breaths, and use your imagination to put onto your mind the picture, that image. It's like a mini movie of what you would love to see in your life.
I think David must have been imagining this already this morning, because he's already transported himself to his own backyard. So definitely wonderful ways to describe that. And I want to turn the focus now to, a big part of what you do. And I want to know how you're helping women and couples with fertility, because I think what you're doing is making such a difference. And I'd love to learn more about that.
Thanks, Shannon. Yes. Well, I've shifted from an obstetrics and gynecology practice where I, ordered blood tests and prescribed prescriptions and made referrals. And what I saw that happened with my clients the best results was when I sat down and listened to them, and I heard what they were saying and gave them an opportunity to voice what it is that they would love. They have some idea sort of what they would love. And the first thing that we work with is that vision. And dreaming up what that life will look like. Not just, I would love to have a baby, but I'm not going to think about it, because if I think about it and it doesn't happen, I'll get hurt. You can't get to your dream. You need to come from your dream. So you need to embody that. So you need to have that mental picture of what you would love to have in your life. And you will shift the different things over time by doing that. And yes, you may not eat the best possible, but if you feel that that's the best food for you right now, you will be in excellent health. If you can't get out to do the walking and activity that you would love, but you can imagine yourself out walking and breathing and doing that. So what I do with my clients is walk them through living that life of having baby. And initially it is challenging for them because they are so fear-based. They've had failures. They're feeling very constricted and low. So we have other tools in my 12-step process to help bust out of all those and give them that reproductive reset. But it all starts with the imagination, to visualize and see what that life is that you would love, so that you can become that woman, you can become that couple that has that family, not just in your mind, in your picture and in your heart because you would love it, but you have that baby in your arms.
Oh, well, I absolutely love your passion, Dr. Karen. And I hope that anyone listening today reaches out to you, because I think that your passion just comes across so wonderfully. And I can't wait to connect with you offline, because I'm all about visualization and mindset. And
Thanks, Shannon.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. And I know, David, you are all about mindset as well. And we already see that you've visualized yourself outdoors today. So in that same regard, what would you suggest for someone who feels overwhelmed and maybe they don't know where to start in a new business?
Thank you, Shannon. And Dr. Karen, I just wanted to acknowledge first that I loved everything you were hearing, saying specifically, you can't get to your dream, you need to come from your dream. Because I'll bring that right to overwhelm. Because when we're in overwhelm, usually it's because we're in multiple places at once. And typically it's that we are either worried about the future or we're holding anxiety from the past, right? And so typically someone who's experiencing overwhelm and stress, they're not here, or they're not tapping into a vision that they truly desire, right? And now we'll get a lot of entrepreneurs, new business owners, they'll step into a vision, and at first it'll be really, really exciting. They'll love the vision, they'll love what they've created in their mind, but then they'll get into work. And as soon as they get into work, the overwhelm and the chaos starts to come through. And what I recommend if you're in that phase is to remind yourself what the vision was when you started. Because when you anchored out the vision, there was no resistance because you knew what you wanted. Now, the moment you're experiencing the constraint on like, okay, now I actually have to do some things to get there, we lose sight on the alignment that we experience when thinking about that vision to begin with. But here's the thing, unless you operate from that space of vision, unless you operate from that space of, this is the business that I'm creating, this is the business that is here for me right now, this is why I'm here, then you're going to continue to act from where you are versus where you want to be. And where you are hasn't created the business that you want. Where you are hasn't created the life that you want, right? And so until you learn to act, like Dr. Karen said, from that come from place, from the place that is your vision, you're going to continue to experience overwhelm. And so a couple practices just to get yourself back is go out in nature, take some breaths, connect back to your why, connect back to your vision, and then recognize that you don't have to do everything right now. You don't have to complete all of your to-do list right now. All you need to do is start with one. And the more that you start with one and then another while trusting the process will lead to your vision, the easier it will be to stay in alignment while creating the desire that you want. And the last piece I'll add to that is one of my mentors said, sometimes overwhelm is just learning how to operate in a new reality. Right? Sometimes overwhelm is just learning how to operate in a new reality, because when starting anything new, you're going to have to do things differently. And if you haven't done it before, like walking when you were a baby, it took some falling over. But do you see babies getting over? I mean, sometimes they flip out and they yell a little bit, but they keep going and they get back up and they start walking again and they move forward, right? And so recognize that overwhelm is simply a symptom of growth. It's a symptom of expansion. It's a symptom of starting to go on the journey to the life that you want. And you'll learn how to operate in this new reality the more that you do it.
Guys, can I just say, I love the energy of this panel and I think it's amazing. And I recently just gave a talk and I actually like referenced a baby and I was like, when a baby is falling down, he's not like, oh, I'm never going to walk. I'm just going to stay here and crawl for the rest of my life. So I love the energy and I love the passion. And David, maybe you could talk to, because I know there's a lot of people out there that they'll be listening and they're like, this sounds great. Like, yeah, sure. But maybe they don't have the confidence, or maybe they don't feel that it's for them. They're like, oh, other people can do this, but it's not for me. What would you tell those people?
Yeah, well, thanks so much for that question, Shannon. And the first thing I'd recommend is to recognize where those thoughts and beliefs and stories are coming from. A lot of the time when I work with clients and I coach them, the first thing we do is recognize the thoughts and beliefs that are not actually theirs. And what I mean by that is we were passed down beliefs and thoughts and stories from our parents, from our teachers, from generations, from people around us growing up. And so most of the time, the I can't mentality, or that's not for me, or all the judgment and fear isn't even yours to begin with. It was given to you. And the power behind recognizing that it was given to you is, if it was given to you, you can give yourself something different. Or you can borrow something different from someone else who has the mindset and the vision that you actually want. Right. And so when I started on this journey and I recognized that my thoughts and beliefs were given to me, the first thing I did is change my environment. I started to surround myself around different people, listening to different audios, reading different books, so I could begin to reprogram and repattern the stories and beliefs that I was given growing up that were not leading me to the life that I want. So I began to disassociate myself from my thoughts and my belief and recognize that this is a playground that I get to play with. And maybe throughout my life, I wasn't given the proper nourishment, or my soil in my brain wasn't watered to the level that I truly desire, but now I can choose to plant something different. And so I always ask the clients that I'm working with, what do you want to plant? What do you want to choose to flourish in this beautiful jungle, this forest that you have access to? What do you want to create? And begin to operate from that space, right? And as long as you recognize that, it's beautiful how fast the judgments and stories can go away, and they might come back, right? They might be there because this is years of reprogramming, years of generational patterning that you're working through. But just recognize every time it comes back that you still get to choose, that you have the freedom to decide what gets to grow. And so that's what I would say to that, Shannon.
Wow, I literally feel ignited. This is such a wonderful conversation, and love both of your energies. And now we have Stephen here, who was able to get on. Hi, Stephen. There you are. I'm seeing double of you, but two's better than one, right? So Stephen, we did introduce you already, and we've been having a great conversation here. So let's dive into some questions, and then if there's time at the end too, we can continue this even more like a Q&A. But Stephen, so we've been talking about trauma and how sometimes these things are built into us and can affect how we see ourselves and envision our future. But tell us how one can overcome
everyone.
it.
Can you hear me? Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Oh, wow. Hi, Stephen. Can you hear us? All right. I don't know, Stephen, if you can hear me, can you give me a thumbs up? All right. So this is what we're going to do. I think we're just going to keep moving on. And Stephen, if he can get on, then we'll have him join the conversation. But I don't think he can hear us. So let's continue, because I'm loving this energy. We have 10 more minutes. Dr. Karen, I want to go back to you. And I want to kind of dig deeper into how you told us a little bit about your past, but have you always kind of had this amazing energy around visualization, or when did it really strike you that, wow, this is something I could do to change my life and change others' lives?
I received a book when I was in medical school training to help manage stress, and it was a visualization book. And from there onward, not only was I doing my medical training, and as fun and arduous as that is, I continued to do personal development work, and enhanced by having a child with Asperger's and ADHD who never fit the box, didn't fit the mold, was a challenge to raise, was one of the biggest blessings that I've ever had to help me really learn more about me and who I was, because I did what David did, and most of us do, as he was explaining. I adopted a lot of my belief system initially from my parents and environment, and probably inherited it. And I was always questioning, there was just something not right. There's something more. What is it? And I was always striving to find it. And it did take a health crisis for me to really shift my practice, close my practice, and move into that more space. And it was the symptoms of my health crisis was that of an unlived life. So these things that you may feel are happening to you, these challenges, they're not stop signs. These are, yay, there is something going on. You are on the right track. Now that you're feeling this fear, having this failure, having this discontent, this overwhelm, you are on the right path. It's time to then stop, take a breath, and then notice, what would you love? That question will never lead you astray. And then you can lean into being that person you would love to be, and shifting that self-image that you have, and create that attitude of where you would love to be, where you'd love to come from, and where you would love to go. Because life doesn't happen to you. It happens with you and through you and as you. And so when you take that 100% responsibility and step into that co-creating your life, as the video with the start of this the series was, that you can create what you would love to create. You can not only design it, you co-create it. You have this power. I woke up this morning because there's a power breathing me. I can't make my heart beat once. I can slow it down with activity. I can speed it up with activity. Same with my breath. I can't shut off my breath. I can make it deeper. I can make it longer. I can make it more shallow. There is a power, and it's called life. And I'm choosing to lean in and live it, and not just to be a byproduct of it.
Wow. Oh my goodness. It's just so inspiring. And I feel like everyone that's on this call today is going to leave here and just be more conscious of what their thoughts are telling them, and how they're living their lives. And David, I love your comments. You're so engaged, and I see you nodding your head. So what would you tell the entrepreneur that, is ready, wants to, take their business and make it what they've been envisioning, and they want to start today? What are you going to tell them?
Start today. And I say it simply, as a joke, but also to be serious. Start today, because most people overcomplicate it, right? Most people get into their mind thinking that it needs to be harder than it actually is, right? A lot of us are playing the victim game, and like Dr. Karen said, a lot of us are operating from a reality as, life is happening to us rather than for us or with us or through us or as us. And so because of that, a lot of people, when they think about starting, they think, well, again, I can't. Well, why? Why not? Why not just lean in? I'm probably on my 5th business now. Many of them have been, relatively successful, and I get to live the life I want. I travel. I have financial freedom. I'm with the woman of my dreams. And none of this was a reality 5 or 6 years ago. But I leaned in over and over and over again, despite the thoughts and the beliefs that I had holding me back. A lot of the work that I do with my clients is what I call embodiment work. And what I mean by embodiment work is stepping into the practice of the body. And so many of us in our society are consumed by the thoughts of our mind. We live in our head versus our body. And some of the most freeing things we can do is just step into the practice of our body, right? Just move forward, lean in, right? Get into the work of things, and recognize that through practice and your practice with your mind, you can achieve everything you want, right? And so if you're on the fence and you know you want something and you know you can lean in, but you're afraid of what can happen, just trust, because that was given to you. Was given to you. It's a gift, and you get to live that. You get to bring that gift forth to the world. You get to bring that gift to humanity. And the longer you hold yourself back is the longer you rob yourself and humanity from those gifts that you were given. And so recognize that it's not just about you. It's about all the people that get to be impacted through the work that you get to lean into by trusting yourself to do the thing that you really want to do.
It's wonderful. I feel like if we were at a real conference, the crowd would be standing up for both of you guys, because this is so amazing. And I'm going to say it again, your energy, both of Dr. Karen and David, amazing energy. And I think it speaks, hearing you guys speak, you can tell that you have lived this. You have made your dreams come true. So it's so easy to say, yes, this is how it's done. And I love seeing great examples like that. So we have about 5 minutes left, and I want to tie in kind of what Stephen was going to talk about, because I know both of you guys can talk about this as well. But Dr. Karen, you mentioned, you went through a health crisis, and sometimes it takes that trauma and those hard times to make us wake up, to make us realize, okay, so if someone is in the middle of that, because I've been in the middle of that too, and sometimes it's hard to think of anything else. So if someone's going through that right now, they want to have this perfect life, but they're in the middle of it, what would you say to them?
We're not meant to do this alone. If you don't have the support system, reach out to me. I'm happy to listen. Find somebody who will listen, not someone who will conspire and, oh, woe is you. Somebody who will give you that sacred space to let out what you need to let out so that you can build. You need to empty that piece out of your cup before you can fill it back up again. And if you don't believe in yourself right now and you feel you don't have anyone in your corner, I'm telling you right now, I believe in you. I believe that you can do whatever it is that you would love to do. And if you don't know what that is right now, then you will find it. Believe that you will, because we all are born with the same amount of believing power. It's what capacity are you turning up the volume on that? So if you can, lean into that.
And what would you say to that, David, as well?
I would not have much to add to that. Dr. Karen said it perfectly. In the hardest times of my life, what brought me back up was the tribe and the community that I surrounded myself with and the people that I allowed myself to lean in. And, sometimes it's hard to ask for help. Sometimes it's hard to ask for support. And I'll speak specifically as well to men that are on here, if they are, because, we've been brought up in this world where we're told as men to be hard and to not ask for help and to be strong and to be emotionless. And that's not right. We're human beings. We're emotional beings. We're not meant to hold it back. We're communal beings. We're meant to be in tribe. We're meant to get support from one another, and we're meant to express ourselves. And so if you're catching yourself holding on to things, recognize that, one, like Dr. Karen said, you do not have to be alone. You get to lean on the backs of others so that you can get yourself back up. And two, you do not need to hold on to any of these emotions. You can let them go. You can release them. You could move through them, right? And the longer we hold on to those emotions is the longer we're going to keep ourselves stuck in that environment, right? So lean in for support and have the courage to express yourself.
Amazing. And just as we wrap up, I'd love to hear from both of you. If people want to reach out or work with you, I'm inspired. I know I'm going to reach out. What does that look like? What does working with you look like?
For me, I do work with the women and couples who struggle with fertility. That is a piece that's near and dear to my heart because I've experienced it. But so is the business owner or someone in the workforce who's had struggles and had difficulties. So I love working with that. I have several programs that can work with. I do laser focused coaching. I do as well some energy clearing work because we work with the conscious and the subconscious mind. You can use affirmations and intentions and set the right tone, and that will move you in the right direction. But your subconscious mind is 30 1,000 times more powerful than the conscious. So let's try and pull out some of that gunk. And I have some tools to help you do that. That's fast and efficient and help move you in the direction of creating and having and being in that dream life that you would just love to create. So there's a variety of different ways to work with me. I've seen in the chat, there's the posting of my website, my Facebook page. You can messenger me. My LinkedIn profile is there. There's several different ways to reach me, and I'm happy to help.
Wonderful. And David, just in this last minute, what about you?
I love specifically working with and coaching people who want to get into the world of business and entrepreneurship and who have something that they really want to create and bring to the world. So whether or not you're someone who is working in a job but you want to take the leap but you're afraid to, or you're someone who has taken the not sure how to keep it going, or the emotions are getting to you from being an entrepreneur, like that's where I like to come in and really support you so you can begin to create the dream life that you want through the business that you desire. And so if you want to reach out to me, social media is the easiest way. So I posted on Instagram earlier. Facebook works as well. So you can connect via social and we can talk about how to work together.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much. This has been amazing. And I think we're going to go into the next round. So thank you guys. All right. Oh my goodness. That was wonderful. I feel so energized and I hope everyone listening does as well. I don't know how you could listen to that and not be energized. So thank you so much to Dr. Karen and to David and Stephen. We're so sorry we missed you on this. But we definitely had you there in spirit. So the next panel, talking about spirit, is actually on spirit, family, and community. So that was a good segue. I didn't plan for that, but it always works out, right? So first we have Janet Cito-Slater, the social architect, Slater, the social architect. And Janet helps entrepreneurs build a business blueprint to grow and scale their business. So she helps connect entrepreneurs to the right resources and connections to meet their needs. She helps coordinate special events in the nonprofit sector with a specialty in fundraising with local business support. And she helps facilitate and train business in the customer service industry to help them stand out from the crowd. So as always, there's going to be more ways in the chat if you want to reach out to Janice, you can do it that way. And Janice, it says Janice, and I know it's Janet, but it says Janice, and I'm sorry. I know Janet. I miss you, and I hope you've been doing well. How have you been doing?
I've been great, thank you. How about you?
I've been great as well. I'm so excited to have you on here today. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce our next panelist. So Brian Tahana, who I also know, we're going to say, you know, those little misunderstandings that turn into arguments and don't seem to go anywhere. Well, it turns out what couples argue about is not actually what they're arguing about. Well-intentioned couples make unconscious mistakes that create conflict. And Brian has learned that it's possible to disagree and still feel deeply connected to and understood by your partner. So he companions couples to resolve trauma, teaches them to soothe each other's nervous systems with their words, and to deepen intimacy. So Brian, it's great to see you. How are you doing today?
Great to be here. Good to see you, Janet. Hello, Shannon.
Oh, it's so wonderful to see both of you. And then we have our third panelist, so Tanis Coughlin. So everyone would, if you were on this morning, you'd be familiar with Tanis. So Tanis is a registered Reiki master, Aqualene master, crystal master, and spiritual practitioner. She is a member of the International Association of Reiki Professionals and the Reiki Healing Association. She feels that life is full of opportunities to help and care for one another, and she is so pleased to have found a way to do this with the Twillo lifestyle community. After spending over 20 years in home healthcare, Tanis embarked on this mission to helping others through her spiritual and energy healing practices. And again, if you want to reach out to Brian or Tanis, their information will be in the chat. But Tanis, so nice to see you today.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. It's great to see you guys.
Yes, it's wonderful. And I'm still stuck on the fact that Janet, oh my goodness, it's been so long. And this just shows adopting and overcoming. I'm reading something and I'm like, that's not right. But, you know, having that feeling, and I feel like you guys are all so in tune with your feelings and with the spirit of the community. So Janet, I'm going to start with you. Tell me why, or tell us why it's important to get involved within your community in regards to helping with your mental health and living a life of impact.
Well, growing up in a service-based industry and being around my parents in our restaurant, growing up, my dad was always contributing to the community. He was always helping out with teams, and I didn't realize at the time what it meant. I didn't realize until later on in life that, you know, when my mom and I were at community events, she would go say, go help Auntie. Go help Auntie. Like, even though we're not related, everybody in our Tunes community, they're called Auntie and Uncle. So it's great when you don't remember names. You can just go, hi, Auntie. And that now I realized had a huge impact on how I am today. And it's pretty powerful when you're able to help out others. The feeling you receive is above anything else. And the most wonderful thing recently that just happened, my son is finishing off his education. And this summer, he comes just before the summer started. He said, Mom, I want to volunteer somewhere. Where do you think I can go and do this? And I'm like, wow. So I am so grateful that I've had the opportunity to be an influence on my son, because my other two children have not. So I'm glad that the last one is walking in my footsteps. And I love to help. I love to help others. And I know in my community, I know Brian and Tanis, they know that they've heard, you know, if you need something, go see Janet. Janet will help. And at this time, I'm really, really sad to hear that so many businesses may not survive. And I'm really sad to hear of the charities that are not receiving their funding because a lot of businesses have cut back. So I'm in the process of developing something, trying to figure out a way to facilitate that loss. So stay tuned. I've got this percolating in the back of my head. I will let everybody know when it's ready to go. But the feeling of contributing, helping out your community, you know, checking in on that senior, or, you know, the senior that lives right next door to us. I used to bring her wonton soup every time, every once in a while, and every time, you know, you bring it to her, her face brightens. So nothing feels better sometimes than knowing that you made an impact in someone's life. And that's why I coined the phrase living a life of impact, because it doesn't have to be giving of that. It could be just saying, you know, you're walking down the street and you see someone who's wearing this beautiful hat or this beautiful dress. You just make a comment. Oh my God, love your hat. Love your outfit today. You're glowing today. Like, just giving that little tidbit, that little compliment that brightens someone's day, that's giving. And maybe they might have had a really crappy day up till then. So just little bits like that, or making an impact. Like right now, our restaurant for the last, oh my goodness, I don't know how many years, 20, 25 years, we've been delivering to the senior center. And we haven't been able to because of COVID. So starting a few months ago, I reached out to the coordinator and I said, okay, can you reach out to all the seniors that attend your luncheon? I want to deliver a meal to them. So at the beginning of our evening, we're arranging, you know, one or two families or one or two couples or a single person, and we're delivering a meal just to brighten their day, to save them from having to cook.
Well, Janet, anyone who knows you, I mean, I'm so honored to know you personally, and everyone who knows you knows what a community builder you are. And just being in your presence and even just having you talk today, you can feel that community really, really matters to you and means so much to you. And I love that you're here today. And you know, what you said is so true. And everyone on this panel knows about community. And we're going to talk now. We're going to move to Brian, who knows community really well as well. But we're going to talk to Brian. My question for you is, you know, new business owners, or sorry, now that business owners are working more from home alongside their spouses, what strategies can one use to have a better relationship with their spouse to avoid arguments and everything that comes with working at home with your partner?
Yeah, thanks, Shannon. I just want to check in. Do I have like 9 minutes to go in on this, or do you want like a little snippet?
Yeah, so I think we're going 9 minutes each,
Okay.
but if you wanted to go a little less and then go back and forth after.
I've got a bunch to download couples who are struggling, so I'm going to take us on a little ride. All right. So is it normal to hate someone that you love sometimes? Family therapist Terry Real says there is such a thing as normal marital hate. So within the context of the pandemic, stress is high, fuses are short because we don't have as much space to decompress and get away from each other. So problems that already existed before have become bigger or sometimes unavoidable. So my message to couples is there's nothing wrong with you, your partner, or your relationship if you really don't like each other sometimes, or you get into arguments, or you simply feel distant. You're not alone. So I'm fascinated by working with couples because why is it that smart, self-aware people can struggle so much to love each other and even cause each other so much pain sometimes? There must be something they're unaware of. So renowned couples therapist and international best-selling author Harville Hendricks said, "Every marriage is a consequence of childhood. The unconscious mind wants to heal those wounds, but that can only be achieved if both participants in a relationship are aware of what those hurts were. So we become partners with each other in the project of helping each other finish childhood." So what you're arguing about is not actually what you're arguing about. So let's start with one unconscious false assumption we make that creates conflict. So it's why we actually resist empathizing with the person that we love. It's I assume that if I acknowledge or validate what you said makes sense in an argument, then you must be right. And if you're right, then I must be wrong. I'm definitely not wrong. So we stay stuck, resisting and dismissing each other's perspective. You both had a different experience of the same one event, and you're arguing over it. So we assume that empathy equals agreeing. If I empathize, I lose. So you can see why we stay stuck. But it's possible to disagree and still feel deeply connected to and understood by your partner. That's completely foreign to most people. We weren't taught it in school, and it's certainly not modeled to us on the world stage. But I've experienced it with myself and with the couples I work with. So another mistake we make that's one of the greatest causes of upset in relationship is this thing called invalidation. So even with the best of intentions, we invalidate each other unintentionally. So invalidation is upsetting because it doesn't allow the other person's perspective to exist as legitimate alongside yours because it usually threatens the truth of your reality. So we tune out and shut down what we disagree with. On top of that, there are two styles of conversation, one that works in conflict and one that doesn't. So the first is called the parallel monologue. We actually use it in normal everyday conversation. I say something, you comment on what I say something interesting about that. And as long as we're in rapport and in agreement, that works fine. The parallel monologue's not bad. But as soon as you disagree, have a misunderstanding, or get triggered, the parallel monologue becomes 100% ineffective in creating understanding and 100% effective at escalating conflict. Why? Because there's no conscious listener in a parallel monologue. There are two speakers, each trying to be understood at the same time, defending their positions, believing there has to be one person who's right, the other person who's wrong. There's a winner and a loser. So the only reason voices ever rise in volume in an argument is because there's no one willing to listen, get curious, and demonstrate they understand the other. So Martin Luther King Jr. said, "A riot is the language of the unheard." Plus, I've discovered even if you are willing, most of us were never taught how to validate another person's perspective. So couples struggle with this, but with practice, you can actually learn to soothe each other's nervous systems with your words in an argument and de-escalate conflict. Another unconscious pattern is the minimizer-maximizer dynamic. So see which one you are. So the maximizer tendencies are to pursue, to be critical, to go after, to be demanding. So anger is actually a bid for connection. You're trying to get your partner to come close, to understand you, but you're just doing it in an ineffective way. So in attachment theory, this is called the anxious partner, who usually has a wound of neglect in childhood, not getting what you needed when you needed it. So the unconscious fear in adulthood manifests as fear of abandonment, that your partner won't be there when you need them most. So any indication that you don't matter or you aren't supported is triggering because it touches your wound and shakes the foundation of your security in your relationship. So the more the minimizer minimizes, the more the maximizer maximizes. So the minimizer tendencies are shutting down, withdrawing, pulling away, making things seem like less of a big deal. So you don't want to make things worse, and it feels like you don't have a chance of being heard sometimes, so it's just not worth speaking anymore. So in attachment theory, this pattern is called the avoiding partner, who has a wound of intrusion, where their boundaries were crossed as a child. And that could be as simple as your parents were arguing and you couldn't leave the room. So the unconscious fear in adulthood manifests as fear of engulfment, which means fear of overwhelm, losing oneself. So you minimize as a way of protecting yourself. It's too much, I can't handle it. So in relationship, there are these competing needs for freedom and connection. So freedom means autonomy. It's your choice, individuality, your self-expression, your truth. And connection is intimacy, closeness, desire, togetherness. So they're opposites. So in partnership, we're always managing this space between us, between freedom and connection. So how can we be in our difference and still feel deeply connected to each other? So I teach boundaries language so that you can manage the space between through communication, what you bring your partner, when and how, as well as the applied empathy dialogue, which is the alternative to the parallel monologue that actually allows you to disagree and still feel deeply connected to and understood by your partner. So it all begins with self-awareness. So let's do a final review here. You have to see what's really going on underneath the surface. So the purpose of marriage is to help each other finish childhood. And a lot of people don't know that. We got hurt, we act out those wounds in our adult relationship. We have to learn to separate the person from the pattern and see the pattern that we're both actually equally contributing to. Stop competing and start collaborating, which means we actually have to learn how to start acting like a team. You're both highlighting unconsciousness in each other. So can you trust that your partner is bringing something valid to your attention that you are unaware of with your best interest in mind? When we hurt each other, we need to apologize. John Gottman did extensive work over 40 years on divorce prediction and marital stability. And he said the success or failure of a couple's repair attempts is one of the primary factors in whether a marriage is likely to flourish or flounder. So apologies melt protection around our heart and build trust because you're acknowledging how your actions impact your partner. We have to stop blaming and take 100% responsibility for owning our part, our perception, and our pain. So here's a key point. Sure, your partner is triggering you, but who has the ammunition? Your wounds and the unconscious pain stored in your body are the ammunition, and they are your responsibility. So demanding something of your partner or criticizing them to get them to do something is control and manipulation, and it will be resisted. So you have to learn how to make requests and influence each other positively. And lastly, John Gottman's work says couples wait an average of 6 years of being unhappy before getting help. So my invitation is to find someone that resonates with you sooner than later and commit to doing the work, because I've found that the magic isn't in the processes I teach, it's in your intent. In other words, you have to be curious about your own experience and want to go on this inner adventure with your partner.
Wow, Brian. Oh my goodness. That I wish I wasn't on camera, because I was like, I want to take notes. I was trying to like type and try to be discreet about it. So I hope anyone listening to this took some great notes, because that is very eye-opening to me. And I'm sure so many people listening, I felt, I related to a lot of what you said. So thank you so much, Brian. Wow, what a wonderful panel. You guys are all so smart. So last we have Tanis, and Tanis, I know you could speak to so much, but really let's like get down to the nitty gritty. And what kind of strategies can you share with us to help people take better care of themselves? How can we take better care of ourselves?
Okay, so I'd like to just add something to Brian's as well, actually, because he's talking about, the self-responsibility. That's definitely something I do a lot in my practice. Encourage people to take that self-responsibility, doing, the work, the Ho'oponopono forgiveness work, really important for that couples thing as well. And, that's part of self-care when we talk about self-care as well, because doing the Ho'oponopono, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that, but it's 4 phrases basically that that really help you to get to that forgiveness piece. We all have people in our lives that we need to offer forgiveness to, right? Or we have trouble moving on from something. So using something like the Ho'oponopono helps us to move on past that. So when I'm working with clients, and I've done it myself, we're all wounded healers, right? The healers always have to do their own work. So when we're doing that work, it's really it deeply helps us to release some of those childhood traumas, like what Brian was mentioning. So that's just one aspect of self-care. That would kind of fall under like your spiritual self-care kind of thing, right? So we have many areas of our lives that we need to do self-care in. And really, if we devote a little bit of time each day and vary those areas so that we're getting a balanced approach to our self-care, that's really important, right? We're all familiar with the usual physical self-care stuff, right? Like doing the exercise, eating the healthy food, all of that stuff. Have you thought about making sure you see a massage therapist or an acupuncturist? That's all sort of part of your physical care. Now, the other piece is the emotional self-care, right? So making sure that you're connecting with your partner, or you're connecting with your tribe, like with Janet's presentation, making sure that you can connect with those people that can give you that emotional support, but also doing it for yourself, showing self-love and compassion. So the Ho'oponopono that I mentioned, the 4 phrases, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and thank you. And those are incredibly powerful if you even do them in the mirror. So doing the mirror work really is a big part of that emotional self-care, that psychological self-care, okay? And then also the spiritual stuff. So when you talk about spiritual, you can talk about energy in that frame of mind. If you're not a terribly spiritual person, we can use the language of energy, right? We all vibrate, the earth vibrates. We vibrate because we're on the earth. All of our cells vibrate, creates the electromagnetic field around us, right? So we have an energy system. Much like the circulatory system, it needs to circulate through the body. So we have chakras that go down the center, and I always compare those to like the heart of the circulatory system. And then you've got your meridians, which run the energy to the rest of the body, much like the veins of the circulatory system. So those are important to keep an eye on as well. So when we look at sort of the spiritual aspect of things, there's dealing with the energy piece, and there's also dealing with things like you can do things like do yoga and volunteer in your community. like what Janet was saying, do that sort of meditation piece. That's a huge one. So as we vibrate, the usual average healthy human being vibrates between like 63 and 78 megahertz. And when we have a negative thought, that actually brings it down. So when you looked at our mindset set before this one, having those positive thoughts like we were getting from that group is really important for your overall self-care. So I always encourage clients to do, of course, the gratitude journal, right? 3 things you're grateful for every day. But I also encourage people, because we don't feel validated or supported often, we have to do that for ourselves. So I actually encourage my clients to write down 3 things they're proud of themselves for every day, right? And it might be little. It might be, I got out of bed today. That was an accomplishment for today, right? It doesn't have to be a huge thing. It can be, that's awesome, but it doesn't have to be, right? It's celebrating the successes. So that's part of that sort of that spiritual self-care, if you say. So we all have 3 aspects of self, right? We've got our physical, we have our mental, emotional, and we have our energetic or our spiritual. They all overlap, right? So we also want to make sure that we're seeing practitioners to support those when there's an issue. So, seeing your doctor or your physical therapist, chiropractor for the physical, seeing the psychologist or the counselor or the coach for that mental, emotional, and then seeing people that do energy work like myself, or there's plenty of different other modalities as well, that we have wonderful energy healers around the world in all different types of modalities, but making sure that you include that piece. That's something that people often, whether there's a non-awareness of it or, they forget about that piece. We're very focused in our society on the physical and the mental, emotional, but that's another piece that is really important. And I think that's come to light a lot with the pandemic lately. But if you can keep all of those things aligned, that really helps with that overall self-care. It really helps us to feel well, right? So when we get back to the vibration thing, when we have a negative thought, it brings it down by 10. But when we have a positive thought, it brings it up by 10. The negative brings it down by 12. So when you start looking at those kinds of things, we need to have lots of positive thoughts. So doing things that make you feel happy, that give you those positive thoughts, right? Like having intimate conversations with your partner, right? Watching something funny on TV. I was going to say going to the movies. Can't really do that right now, but not here anyway, hopefully soon. But watching something funny on TV, right? Doing it together, having a conversation, or helping out in the community where you can. Those things are all positive mindset things that really help to bring up our vibration. And that vibration is important. If we keep it in that average range, then we stay out of that feeling run down, feeling overwhelmed. When we get down into the 40s, we actually, we're more susceptible to more serious illnesses. So we really want to keep our vibration up. So.
Wow. Even your voice is so soothing and so calming. It's just so wonderful. All 3 of you have such unique perspectives, but those perspectives all kind of meld together. I think that all of you are so knowledgeable in the practices that you do. And I think everyone that listened here today is walking away with kind of a more calming energy and knowledge. And I think our partners and our relationships are going to benefit from this. Our community is going to benefit from listening to you guys speak today. So at that, I know that we have some introductions by Paul coming up and a cool keynote. So what I'll do is I'll hand it over to Paul. I think if Paul is there, we can hand it off to him. But I wanted to thank you, Janet, Brian, and Tanis, so much. Wonderful information, and definitely loved having you here today.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Wow, is that not incredible? And so grateful to hear our panelists today with Janet, Brian, and Tanis. Such incredible insight. And I've worked with Brian. Has actually helped. I've done some marriage counseling with Brian too. Fantastic insights about your childhood and how that's carried forth in your relationships. I also want to mention, you notice everyone's wearing orange. We're doing a little tribute to the recent bodies that were found in our unmarked grave in Kelowna, BC. We're celebrating inclusiveness and diversity and acknowledgement of our Indigenous family as well. So this has been fantastic. So much great insight. And what we're going to have next is an incredible keynote speaker, James McNeil. He's talked on the stages with Jack Canfield, Les Brown, all the top speakers in the world. We're very fortunate actually that he's agreed to speak with us today, and just it's going to blow your mind. He's a spirituality intelligent mindset. So if you want to talk about mindset visualization, enjoying your dream life, you're going to get incredible insight. And it's going to be very interactive. So make sure you're ready in the chat to respond to his presentation. And I believe Jared is going to play a video for us to introduce James.
Hello, hello, hello. I guess that's my cue. I'm honored to be here. Hi, James McNeil here. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Shannon. This has been wonderful. I hope you've been enjoying today. What a beautiful event. Honored to play a part to help all. And I hope you will bring the love to those you touch and help others to adapt and overcome. This has been quite a season. And so I'm honored to be a part of this. Would you be kind enough to enter into the chat? Let's test the chat here. I want to interact with you. Would you be kind enough to type the word love? I'm going to ask you to send some love to Paul, to Shannon, all of the speakers here. Just type in the word love to those lives who have been touched by this pandemic, to those who are watching. I ask you to just type in the word love and send some loving energy to those who are behind the scenes working to make this event come together. For all those touched by difficulties in the last few years. You know, it's approximately $4 trillion based on the people I'm talking to. $4 trillion has been moved from the ranks of the quote unquote normal people who had jobs, and has moved into the top 100 or so people on the planet into their bank accounts. I'm not against the people who the money moved to, but my heart is with those where the money moved from. And so this has been a very difficult season for many people. I ask you to join me here in just sending some love to each other and to this planet that we have the honor of being on. I'm honored to be able to kind of hog the microphone for a few minutes. I'm excited to meet with you. Before we go any further, I just want to say this to you, my dear friend, and I hope you can hear this in your heart. In fact, let's do this. I'm going to ask you to really become present with me. I'm going to ask you to do this. I'm going to ask you to please just take in a long, slow, deep breath. When we inhale, I want you to imagine you're inhaling light and love, just all the positive vibes that you can. We're going to take in a long, slow, deep breath. We're going to hold it for a few moments. This is called a purifying breath. And then as we hold it into our lungs for a few moments, we can just feel that love energy flow our body. And then we exhale tension and toxicity. Let's do a couple of purifying breaths together. Long, slow, deep breaths, light and love. Hold it for a few moments. We're going to exhale tension and toxicity. Let's go. Oh, that's beautiful. Let's do that again. Beautiful. I'm going to ask you to receive some loving words. I believe that this is not coming just from me to you, but from divine love energy to you. I want you to hear this. You, my dear friend, are perfect. You're perfect in your personhood. You are a creative and compassionate spiritual being. You're currently existing in this physical form. You are infinitely valuable, exquisitely unique. And you are perfect in your personhood. Your natural state is in euphoric connection to source energy, source love, God, if you will, and loving connection to all living things. You're here on purpose with a reason for this season. You're here not just to make it, but to make it better. You're here on a mission to change the world. You are perfect and you are perfectly set up. I hope that you'll accept that this conversation that we're having right now, this meditation to become familiar with pure spiritual intelligence, this meditation we're enjoying together here. I hope you're open to see this as a divine appointment, that this is something special. This is not just another anything. Nothing is another anything. This is one of your precious moments in this time-space experience. And I ask you to allow this session, these few moments we have together, allow yourself to experience a breakthrough. I'm going to ask you to give me an honest answer here. Are you open to the possibility that in the next few minutes, somehow while I'm talking, that something spiritual happens within you, that you choose to forgive yourself or forgive someone else, or you choose to believe again, you believe in hope? I'm going to ask you to type in, "It's my time," if you're open for a miraculous transformation to occur in the next few moments. If you're just open to the miracle, open, without justification, without explanation, without saying, "I did A, B, C, and D, I've got the secret cure," but rather just say, "I don't even know how. I don't know why. Before that day, things were that way, and now they're this way. Before, I was frustrated and angry, and I didn't have health, and I didn't have relationships. I wasn't experiencing love. I wasn't in the past experiencing Olympic level sex, but now I am. Now my body is dead sexy. I've got the healthiest body I've ever had. Everyone loves me. Everyone digs me. I'm leveling up in all ways, my business, my philanthropy. I'm touching lives out there. My relationships. I love the speakers that have come before. I just want every speaker on today's event, I want you to know that I want to connect with you. You're doing beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work. I'd love to learn more and share from my experiences and introduce you to cool people. You know, later today, after this event is over, I'll be sharing the stage today with Les Brown, my guru dad, with Jack Canfield, with Deepak Chopra, with Sharon Lecter, Eric Thomas, Mel Robbins, with, I can't remember who else, 10 of the top speakers on earth. I'm sharing this stage after this event is over later on. And I want to introduce these speakers to those speakers. I want to introduce the speakers that are on this roster to the world's biggest stages and just get to know you more. I love it. Some of you I've already attempted to make better friends with. I just want to say, Janet Cito, you are such a beautiful heart and soul. You are just living in that beautiful flow. Brian, I so enjoyed your conversation. I'm the author and creator of something called Verbal Aikido. We've got to talk, my brother. Thank you, Tannies. Thank you, Dr. Karen. I got to tell you, Dr. Karen, my first pure spiritual intelligence retreat, Dream Life retreat, we had a woman show up, and she and her husband had been told that they could not have children, and they're now happy parents. Something miraculous happened. And so the speakers here are amazing. Make sure that you're dialing in on all the great love energies that are flowing around today. So I hope you're open that today, now, here, somehow, your perfect dream life begins. Because it can't be in the future. In the spiritual sense, there is no time. You and I are spiritual beings currently existing in physical form, which means we come from the spirit world. The spirit world is that which transcends time, space, and matter. You might want to take a lot of notes as I'm going, because I'm not going to slow down, and I don't have a PowerPoint. I'm just giving you some love here. But I want you to know that you transcend time, space, and matter yourself. Your spirit being does, and you're currently in this physical form with its limitations. And your mind, which is a spiritual part of your anatomy, make sense of it by the use of your brain. Your brain is a physical instrument that your mind uses when it thinks consciously. Now, it also uses your brain when it thinks non-consciously in some ways. But I just want you to know that you are in a quote-unquote unnatural environment in this time-space continuum, and you're here on a mission with a reason for this season. And I hope you're open to just see that your perfect dream life can't come in a distant time, because either it is or it isn't. You are or you're not. You're a billionaire or you're not a billionaire. Now, billionaires can sometimes be broke, but they never stop being a billionaire, right? If it's wealth, if it's love, I want you to know that this is who you are. It's your jam to live your perfect dream life. I hope you're open to that today. I want to share some thoughts with you to encourage you. And I want you to accept one message right now. And that is this: everything is perfect and everything is improving. I encourage you to write that down. Everything is perfect. It is what it is. And everything's improving. The reason why I embrace such statements is because I believe we live in a universe governed by love, source energy, source love, God, if you will. And this energy is all-powerful, all-knowing, all-present, and is fully capable of creating any kind of a universe and rewriting it every day and every second. And I believe that power is allowed what is, because what is perfect, en route to more perfection. And so if you can accept that everything that's happened in your life was not an accident, you are not an accident, all of the horrible things, all of the unfortunate things, your own mistakes and the mistakes of others, the sins of others, if you will, all of that was required to make you a unique soul, to give you some empathy, some sympathy, some understanding, some patience, some make you you, and only you can touch the planet in the way that you can, because only you are you who came through that journey. You, my dear friend, are perfect, and everything up until now has been a setup. And only you, because of all that you've experienced, are able to touch the world in the way that only you can. Can someone type in an amen on that? Are you okay with that? Everything is perfect. Everything is improving. Everything is the way it is. Therefore it is. You know, Jesus taught, do not judge, do not judge, do not judge. And you know, it's one of the most common things that people do. They judge each other, and they judge, and religious groups, of course, are known for judgment, but it's not just religious groups, but judgment, judgment, judgment. And we were taught not to judge. And it's not just people, but don't judge circumstance. Who said you're supposed to be taller? Who said you're supposed to be, who said I'm supposed to have hair? Who said I'm supposed to be rich yesterday? No, my rich is tomorrow. But who said it's supposed to be any way that it's not right now? If we can move into a non-resistant state, accepting the fact that everything is perfect and everything is improving, that we're still in this game, everything's fine. Don't stand in judgment. We're going to talk about how to connect to source energy, source love. I'm going to talk about that in the next few minutes. I'm going to talk about how you can unlock your perfect dream life. I want you to know right now that your perfect dream life is in fact perfect, greater than anything you can imagine. In the wisdom literature, it says this, that no eye hath seen, no ear hath heard, nor has entered into the imagination of human beings all that the divine has in store, that you have your perfect dream life, greater than anything that you could hope, dream, wish, or imagine. It's better than that. And it's guaranteed. It is already perfected. It's paid for. It's present. It's approved. It's just waiting. And this is the kicker, for your permission. Your perfect dream life is waiting for one thing, and that is your permission. I encourage you to type into the chat, it's my time. It's my time. Today's the day. No matter what stories you told yourself, I've got this disorder, that disorder, I got that challenge, this is wrong, that is wrong, they ruined it, the government sucks. Today you're willing to say, no more. I don't need the outside world to change for my experience to change. I'm open to my miraculous dream life starting now. And when I have the love energy flowing to me and through me, the world will change because of me, not for me, as a result of me, because I showed up and I dialed in. This world was not left the way that I found it. Someone give me an amen. Are you guys enjoying this? Are you with me? Let me know if you're with me. Give me an amen if you're with me. Are you enjoying this? I want you to be encouraged. I want you to be inspired. I want you to be unlocked. I want you to live your perfect dream life. And I want you to know this, please hear this, your perfect dream life, whether it includes stuff or not stuff, whether it includes millions or billions or trillions and boats and your own islands and jets or a modest cabin on a mountaintop. Your perfect dream life is perfect, and not just for you. You see, you can only earn, you can only get by giving. The word deserve means from service. When you serve greatly, you deserve greatly. When you deserve greatly, you are abundant. If you're not making enough money, it's because you're not serving enough. You're not blessing the planet enough. And I will talk about how some people are self-made martyrs. Now they've been able to give to, self-made victimhood. And we're going to talk about that and how you can allow the flow to flow back, to serve and to deserve. Who is open to miracle flow? Say, I'm open. Miracle flow, which means miracle flow flows to you. Love flows out and love flows back. That you not just serve greatly. The business of business is to profitably solve problems. And your main job is to find and keep and profitably serve the right customers. Some people are a pain in the butt. You don't want them as a customer. You want to find, keep, and profitably serve the right customers and to profitably solve problems. That's what we do. And so your perfect dream life means you're making the world a better place. If you don't live your perfect dream life, you're hurting us more than you're hurting you. I want you to be a billionaire or a trillionaire and have an island or whatever's your jam. Because the only way you can have all of that is by serving this planet and making it a better place. And that's a planet I want to be on. I want to be on a planet where you live your best possible life and you live in a perpetual state of love and joy and peace and purpose and prosperity. There's a flow. There's a flow, my friend. It's called the Zoe River, the river of abundant life. It is the river of faith, of joy, of peace, this river of love. And in this river, things move at the speed of light, miraculous. How can a person go from tragedy to triumph, from zero to hero? How can a person transform their life? And I'm going to share some stories with you in a few moments, but it's by getting into this river. Now, this river has two shores, fear and frustration. If you're feeling fear or frustration, you're in the grip of ego. Ego's not your amigo. You want to move back into the light, back into the flow of allowing your perfect dream life to unfold. So let me tell you a bit about me. Some of you wonder, who is this guy? He talks fast. maybe you can record it. So first, let me tell you this. I live in Toronto, Canada. Right now, I'm in my office at Highway 7 404, for those who are curious, in the Markham area. And I grew up, a large part of my childhood was in this area. We moved 6 times before I was 4 years old, and I had a fractured skull before I was 4 and almost died of that. I wasn't supposed to be born. My mother was told 100% guaranteed that if she got pregnant again, she would die and or the baby would die. She was guaranteed death if she got pregnant again, but she went ahead, and my father, and they went ahead and had me. And she's alive and well, and we love each other dearly, and I'll see her this afternoon. And so I wasn't supposed to be born, and then I wasn't supposed to survive. I have ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Some of you have picked up on that. I have dyslexia. I have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. I have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. We believe I have some more. We're still looking into it, tabulating all the letters behind my name. As a child, tragedy, both at home and outside of the home. I've been bullied, beaten, battered, broken, abandoned, choked, strangled, hung, and drowned. I barely survived. I couldn't speak in sentences till I was 9 years old. I couldn't read till I was 21. I wasn't supposed to make it. I was a statistic waiting to happen. But by the grace of God, by spiritual enlightenment, by blessings, and just being open to the miraculous, I now share the stages every single month with the biggest names on earth. I hang out with millionaires and billionaires. I travel the globe. My programs just explode all over the world. We're like, how is that guy that blessed? I still have these things, right? So how did that happen? It's by dialing into this river. And today is your turn. Okay, do it again. If you don't mind, type in, it's my time. Okay, it's your time. I'm introducing you to the river. I encourage you to jump in the river. I have a few points I want to move through, and I want to let you loose to your highest and your best. Okay. All right, let's go. So what do I want to say? Okay. So please get this. You will never be happier, healthier, wealthier, or more loved than you allow. You will never be happier, healthier, wealthier, or more loved than you allow. If you want to change your life, you've got to change your life. People have told you that before, and you think there's more stuff you've got to do, things you've got to know. No amount of knowledge or genius or opportunity will change your life. You alone can unlock that vault. No matter how much you know, no matter how smart you are, no matter how good the circumstances around you, you know people can find a way to turn their lives to trash. They can make them suck if that's what they choose to do. With anger, bitterness, resentment, hatred, self-loathing, self-victimization, you name it, they can taint the beautiful vibes. And I wanted to just acknowledge, it was Tanis who shared with us the average vibratory day. I didn't know what was average on the Hertz scale of vibration, but I will tell everyone this, that think of vibration this way. If you're on a low vibe, right? You're feeling crappy. Think of it as a radio station. You're going to hear crappy music, maybe country and Western. No, I didn't say that. I love it. Sure. That's good. Anyways, so if you're on a low level vibration, you're going to get the music on that station. If you want the music up here, you want the philanthropy, the world changing, you want to travel, you want to hang out with cool people, do cool things, build great enterprise. You want to vibrate up here. You want to hear the music on there. If you want to hear the music up here, you got to change the station you're dialed in at. Down here, you're going to get that music. Up here, you're going to get that music. You got to change your vibe. And today we're going to be continuing as a community. All of us speakers have joined together. We volunteered our time to make this an impactful day for you. And so we're a team here, and we're here because we care, and we're here to give back. And so let's walk through this. I want you to know that if you're going to change your life, you're going to change your life. And it's not about what you have to add. It's what you have to stop doing. You have to stop stopping yourself, and you'll realize how unstoppable you are. If you will stop stopping yourself, you realize how unstoppable you are. You know, some people think that we study the metaphysics, right? Metaphysics, if you're curious, physics is the study of time, space, and matter. Quantum physics is the curious research into the subatomic time, space, and matter, which is very curious. And then you've got metaphysics, which is physics that transcends time, space, and matter, the research of that which transcends time, space, and matter. And what we found is the metaphysicians and the quantum physics and the metaphysics are finding out we're singing the same song. So it's pretty cool right now. It's a great time to be a researcher in the coolest stuff on earth, because we're finding out that at the quantum level, the metaphysics are revealed. It's so cool. We're finding the science behind the miracles that we've been learning through the wisdom literature through all time, and it's coming together. And I lead a group. I have a community, and you can join it today, by the way, called Pure Spiritual Intelligence Mentorship. I used to do one-on-one coaching. It was $25,000 for a person for 1 year, and they had to pay in full. And I don't offer that anymore. I'm just too busy. But what I've done is I've created a package where you get all of that, the entire, like you get 3 live videos a day. You get one with me. You get a case study thing every single week. You've got 4 $4,000 courses online. You've got all this. You've got what's called a 30-day miracle challenge. We started with 30 people last year. We're at 1,200 people now all over the world, over I think it's 60 countries now. And I'm doing all this cool stuff, and you can be a part of that if you choose to join me. And I welcome you, by the way. If you're interested, I'll give you an opportunity to do that. So today you've got to say yes. Say yes to you. Stop stopping yourself. Say yes. Take action. Give yourself the best chance you can. I've invested millions of dollars. It started out buying an audio cassette series when I was 19 years old. Audio cassette series every month cost me $70 US plus tax plus shipping. It cost me almost $100, which is $250 today. I invested that every single month, and then I just reinvested as I continue to grow. And then now I've invested millions. And so I encourage you to invest in yourself to unleash and unlock the highest and best. Here we go. So quick, grab these points. Number 1, you'll want to connect to source energy, source love. I know my time is flying, but I want to give you as much as I can. Where's my kettle? Here it is. I want you to imagine that this kettle here, right, boils water, was shipped to the wrong part of the world. I want you to imagine it was shipped to a place where it's a grass hut, dirt floored, no electricity. They've never seen this because they've never seen electricity. And so they have no idea what this device is or what it's for. If you've traveled much, you know that people in that hut will use this. This will be a treasured item. It will be used as a shovel or to grab water from the river. Who knows, maybe a weapon. They might hang it with the cable, not knowing what it's for. But this would be busy. It would be active. It would be used. And it might even be loved and treasured. And I'm not talking about a kettle. I'm talking about you. You might be busy. You might act. It might be active. Might be treasured. Might even be loved. But what you will never be is what you could be if you were just plugged in. And then the truth about you can be revealed. When you're plugged into source energy, source love, God, if you will, you reconnect and you fly. Here's how to and where to reconnect. And people spend 30 years researching it. You spend a year with me, you'll master this. Top level athletes, cage fighters, UFC fighters, top level athletes in many fields I've had the honor of working with and helping them to transform their lives. Many have said I've saved their career through the work that I do, like this. So here's a snapshot. And I hope today is just a first date and we start working together. So where to connect? It's actually when. And so you cannot connect to source energy, source love if you're stuck in past tense, tension. Whether it's the good old days or the bad old days, you're stuck in the past. That's past tense. That is not dialed into source energy, source love. Future tense, I can't wait, I'm very excited, or I'm afraid, I'm not looking forward to. Either way, it's future tense. So past tense, future tense don't connect. Present tense means discontent. I'm currently not in a flowing state. I'm whining, bitching, moaning, complaining. It shouldn't be the way that it is. As long as you're in any of these tension states, you're not connecting to source. Past tense, future tense, or present tense. To connect to source, it is be still and know that I am God. To be still. To be still, we connect to source now and then. No mind, present peace, deep breath, connect. Be open to the miraculous. Be open to the miraculous healing, infinite flow of love and power and wealth and wisdom. Be peaceful and present. The fastest path to your best possible future is present peace. And I hope that you can accept point number 1. Now, point number 2. You want to have a clear, compelling vision you believe in and feel free to pursue. A clear, compelling vision you believe in and feel free to pursue. I want you to imagine your best possible dream life and scribble it out on one page. Create a dream life vision. Write it out. Everything you can. Shove it onto one page so you can see it in one glance. Fill it. And when you've done that, I want you to then say, I'm wondering how many of these desires are mine. I have a 7-part desire decoding program, which if you join me in my community, which I'm encouraging you to do today, then we'll walk through this together. And then within 1 week, you'll have your desires decoded. You'll know what's natural, which means which is truly you, what is unnatural, which means someone else gave it to you or ego is tricking you, and what is divine whispers of inspiration. And so desire decoding process. So have a clear, compelling vision you believe in and feel free to pursue, and make sure it's your truth, not the ideas of others. That's number 2. Number 3, drop the negative energy. Are you willing to forgive? Type I am if you're willing to forgive, which is really cool to say I am, because the divine love energy of the universe is gracious. Moses says, I will free my people, but you have to tell me who you are. And God said, I am that I am, Yahweh. And the I am statement is a very powerful statement of the love energy of the universe, source energy, source of God, if you will. And if you say, I am willing to forgive, you are really aligning. You're a co-creator and a co-forgiver with the love energy of the universe. And so I encourage you to drop all the negative energy. Forgive yourself. Forgive everyone. We do a purification process. It's actually a very ritualistic process that we go through. And I want to say hopopopo, yeah, what you said. Next, faith-filled action. Some people say, can I just dream? Can I just use the secret and manipulate the force of the universe to give me what I want? Well, a couple of challenges. Number 1, no, you can't force. The divine doesn't take deadlines and demands. Number 2, what you want is what divine knows is best for you. You actually are on the same page. The best plan is the infinite plan. And so you don't have to trick. The universe has already said yes and wants you to have it. And so then the next question is, do I have to work or will it just appear? And I say, historically, people tend to do something for the miracles. Miracles are reserved for the movers. I'm not saying it can't be any other way. I'm just saying it tends to be that way. Don't get mad at me. I'm in sales, not management. There we go. But faith-filled action. Take action, not from fear or frustration, but act in faith and have fun. Play. Who here is willing to play more? Type in I am if you're willing to play more. Laugh, dance, sing. My goodness, people are tense. Next is move immediately into gratitude. When you see that dream life vision, I want you to say thank you as if it already is, because as long as you see it as a future experience, it will stay a future experience. Once you embrace it as your infinite now, part of your infinite now story, you move into a humility and a gratitude. Say, oh, wow, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And gratitude is the attitude for altitude. Thank the divine. My dad used to say, if you keep crying, I'll give you something to cry about. Well, divine says, you keep thanking me, I'll give you something to thank me for. I know my time is flying. My last thought is the love trinity. Love vertically, we've talked about that. Janet helped us talked about the love of others, to be loved with skin on for a world that's in need. So love vertically, love horizontally. And then the third part of the love trinity is love yourself. You tell the world how to treat you by how you treat you. No one will treat you better than you treat you. How you treat your body tells people how valuable you think you are, how much love energy you're willing to receive. If you will love yourself, respect yourself, honor your wellness, honor your wealth, honor your time, others will say, I'm going to do the same, because you've told them, you've shown them how to treat you. That's my time. My friends, I encourage you to join my community. My time has flown. I will give you the login. It's a monstrous package that I've offered you. And I have a live event that you'll have a ticket to, a VIP ticket to, coming July 17, 18, really soon. July 17, 18, called the Dream Life Experience. You can have a VIP ticket, and you get my full online course, pure spiritual intelligence, everything. So let me just type this in. Go jamesmcneil.com/PSI. There it is. Did I type it in? Go.jamesmcneil/PSI. You can join at $97 a month or $9.97 for a year. If you pay in full the $9.97 for the year, you save money, but you also you get to download my online courses for keeps, so you have them for eternity. My friends, I've treasured every moment I've had to be able to share with you. I thank you for the honor of being allowed to be a part of this incredible event. Listen to every one of these speakers, connect with everybody here, make sure that you make the most of today, and allow today to be that day that you can look back on and say, that was the day. That was the day I said yes to me. That was the day I dropped the dead weight. That was the day I said yes to my perfect dream life, to be the best possible me, to live my best possible life. And by doing that, bless the planet in which I live. Thank you so much, my dear friends, for allowing me to share with you. I will stick if there's a question or anything, or I will go away quietly, however you want me to play, Paul. I don't hear you, but you look magnificent.
Yeah. This has been incredible. Thank you so much for sharing your insight and your wisdom with us. It's just incredible that, the amount of I just saying like your whole conversation. There's only one thing we need to do is to take action and join your community, because you have so much great wisdom to share with us. And, so grateful for your time today, that we know you're a world-renowned speaker, and to have you share your vision and your wealth of knowledge with us is just incredible, and so grateful to have you speak with us today. And yes, please join James' community. I don't see any questions coming up, but we'll definitely. I don't know if you're going to be available for we have a networking session. We do have a Dream Life booth during our first networking session from between 12:30 and 1. If you happen to be available, love to have you come out and people could come see you. But I know you're incredibly busy. I know you're doing another event today, so we don't expect you to stick around. But at least we put your link in the chat, and I know that Andy's going to be posting that in the chat as well. For us, just so grateful for your time today, and I can't. I'm definitely going to be signing up for your program, hands down, because I mean you're like the reincarnation of Napoleon Hill. Like your incredible knowledge of mindset and visualization, and your wealth of. I mean, I know you've spoken on international stages to share your insights. So just incredible. Thank you so much. So grateful for your presentation today.
Thanks, Paul. Oh, I will say one thing, because it often comes up. I didn't say it. Normally I do, because people ask. As far as religion and faith and spirituality, I just want everyone to know that it took me 35 years to write this in a way that everyone's cool with. So this has been signed off by Christians and Sikhs and Buddhists and Muslim and Hindu and atheist and witches. Everyone's picking up what I'm putting down. We come from love. We're on the same team. And so I hope everyone feels comfortable with that. But yeah, go.jamesmcneil.com/PSI for Pure Spiritual Intelligence. Paul, thank you. I've been honored to be a part of what you're doing here. And congratulations on the good work you're doing, my friend.
Thank you so much. And yeah, everyone, you need to plug into James's program, like he said, and check out the link, and we'll see you there in James' community. So thank you so much. So grateful for your presentation today. All right. Well, we're going to move right